Hey guys, it's Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. Today I want to discuss and dissect inspiration, that mythical fuel for our art. We're going to redefine inspiration today and empower ourselves to bring it into every single writing session. Well, to be fair, this doesn't actually have to happen every single writing session for this to have great effects on your music and on your writing. The first thing I really want to talk about is dispelling this idea that inspiration exists outside of ourselves. We talk about inspiration in an interesting way when you really dig into it. We look at it as something that doesn't necessarily come outside of you, but the trigger for the inspiration comes outside of you. And we tend to place a lot of emphasis on what that trigger is or when that trigger happens. So to be really clear here, inspiration is an internal phenomenon, an internal mechanism. The triggers for inspiration can be external, but it really does come from within us, just like the rest of our feelings and emotions. Now, I'm really trying to beat a dead horse here with the distinction between inspiration triggers and inspiration itself. It's really easy to conflate these two, and I think that's where a lot of people tend to have problems with their inspiration, or finding their inspiration. But here's the thing, using this distinction means that we are acknowledging that inspiration comes from within us. Yes, I said that so many times already, but I swear I'm getting to something. The fact that it comes from inside, not based on some external trigger, means that we can learn to trigger it ourselves in a consistent way. And this is where things really start to get cool. We can take action to create and recreate we can take action and recreate inspiration whenever we want to. This is incredibly empowering, or at least it is for me, because it allows me to take control, a greater amount of control over my writing process. There's not this unknowable thing that is keeping me from writing music anymore, right? I thought that there was a thing, right? That's kind of the trick of it. We think that there's this outside thing that's like, why aren't I inspired? So what is inspiration if it's not this external thing? So to more accurately describe inspiration, we can call it a state of mind. Inspiration is a state of mind. When we're inspired, we're not possessed by some unseen force. We are just in our minds. We're in a specific mindset. Like being angry, sad, happy, or ecstatic, being inspired is a feeling. It's a state of being. Now the trick is, though, we just have to figure out what kinds of triggers get us into that state. Just like how a certain movie can make you feel nostalgic, Lord of the Rings for me, there may be a specific song or a specific artist that kind of gets you into that mood of wanting to play or practice or write. This may not even actually be music either. This could be something else. This could be painting or a landscape or anything that kind of gets your creative juices flowing. The funny thing is, while yeah, absolutely there are external triggers in the world that inspire us and get those creativity juices flowing, right? Sometimes even just the act of sitting down and starting to write can be enough to get into that inspired mind frame. But feelings are also complex, and this feeling is more than just a state of mind, it's a state of being. I may have said that earlier. I often feel like when I'm inspired, I'm also in a kind of flow state. You know the saying, time flies when you're having fun, and that's kind of what I'm alluding to here. These are the kinds of states of being where time seems immaterial and you can just write and play and practice for hours. It doesn't happen with just music either. These flow states are everywhere. I certainly can remember a ton of all-nighters from college, just writing papers last minute, but I was super focused on them and I was getting that done. I was in a flow state for them and I wasn't writing music. So you can enter a flow state at any time. You don't have to be inspired by an external trigger. You can just say, I need to get this done. I'm gonna do this. And lo and behold, you get a ton done in a short amount of time. Flow states. Now here's a quick tip that can really boost your productivity and your time management skills overall. When you're in a writing session, time yourself to see how long your flow state lasts. This information is great because you can use it as a barometer for how long you can schedule your writing sessions. If you know that your best work is behind you after about an hour of writing, then you can say, all right, well, I'm gonna stop it here, and you can go and take care of things that also might be pressing. You can use that time that you would have spent writing not as productively and take care of other things in your life that will make you overall less stressed. So here's where things really start to kick into gear. Now that we've redefined inspiration, we can really make inspiration work for us. The point of all of this is to take control of inspiration and take control of our creative process. Now, I'm a big believer in keeping a writing schedule. I'm 100% aware that I'm a broken record on this topic, but this also means that you're, wait for it, this is gonna be super cheesy, it's gonna be fantastic, you're also keeping a inspiration schedule. I said it. That's right. Come at me. Like we were talking about earlier, flow states can happen usually just kind of after doing something for a few minutes. So when you sit down to write in your writing session that you put in your calendar, you can be pretty certain that after 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna start hitting that flow state. This is the key to getting inspiration to work for us. Best part is, it's dead simple. Just sit down and start writing. So instead of focusing necessarily on what's triggering our inspiration, we can focus on the inspiration itself. We can redefine it for what it really is, essentially a flow state, and recreate that flow state whenever we want, because we've done it so many other times in the past. The more you do it, just like anything else, the easier it gets. The more you sit down to write, the better you get at it getting into this flow state, the more you can feel good about writing because you're writing more. And when you keep a schedule, I'm doing this again, I am. When you keep a schedule and a writing schedule, this all just becomes a positive feedback loop. Another thing that I'm going to talk about over and over and over again, because they are fantastic and they're really easy to maintain, but they're hard to start. Now, this isn't to say that you won't have bad days or there will be days where you just don't hit that writing session. That happens. We all have those days. Just don't stress about it. Just be like, all right, this is not happening today. Oh well, gonna go and do something else. The goal here is to play the long game. It's about aggregating this over time. If you can hit that inspired flow state in 3 out of 5 writing sessions and you're writing 5 times a week, you're doing great. You're making a lot of music and that's fantastic. Now that's all for today. If you take inspiration for what it is, a state of being, then you empower yourself to re-enter that state more often. And that's so much better than just waiting around to be inspired. The effect on your craft is tremendous, and in my experience, this is how I went to sounding like an amateur to sounding like a professional songwriter and composer. What do you think about inspiration? Did you look at it like I did, like some kind of external magical force that possessed me when I was worthy of it or whatever? Comment down below with your thoughts. I'm super interested to hearing what you think about inspiration and what you thought about this video. Now, before we get going, I want to talk to you about my free guide, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. It's got great versatile tools that will allow you to take a melody that you feel needs a little bit more and bring it up to your standards. Navigate on down to justwritemusic.com and enjoy my free gift to you. There's a link down in the description. I'm Avi from justwritemusic.com. I'll see you next time. Boobity boop.